Welcome to Reparenting Tuesday, and we are going to start with a story. I want to tell you a story, yo. I want to tell you a story, yo. So, there was a lady, let's call her Achieng. So Achieng was married to Kenodia, and they were living together. So under their government, their not so thinking president got into an agreement with other countries on how they could have what you call a labor exchanging program. So Kenodia's wife, Achieng, had to travel and go work in another country. So they had a daughter, and their daughter's name was Wajiro. So the years passed as Achieng was working overseas. But every day when Achieng left home, they would chat with Wajiro, the daughter, over WhatsApp calls. So at first, the calls were every day, every hour. You know how daughters will be with their mothers. That is how they were communicating. So every day it was, oh my God, I miss you, mom, blah, blah, blah. And the conversations between Achieng, the wife, and Kenodia were conversations of, when are you coming home, daddy? Daddy, when are you coming home? You know, I love you. You know, I can't sleep without remembering how you hold me close. You know how these relationships will be when someone travels abroad and they're used to being together, okay? So, over the time, their relationship started fading slowly, aka long-distance relationships. Now, the daughter, this Wanjiro, used to have conversations with the mother. And of course, the years stretched, and for the first time, when the mother used to come traveling home, Achieng, the daughter would never leave the mother's side. Walikuwa wanaenda kila mahali. So going to the malls, they are together with the daughter. AKA, everywhere they would be going with the daughter. Msichana hakuwa anatoka hapa. Always with the mother. Always touching the mother. Always going everywhere with the mother. So the mother would get on a plane, go back to the country she's working from, and leave Kenodia alone with the daughter. Now, as the days goes by, remember when this woman was leaving, the daughter was like 8 years old. So of course the daughter gets to her teenage years. So the first conversation that the daughter has to have about her periods is with the father. Because she wakes up one day and she has soaked her period through her mattress. So the father becomes the first person she's going to have a conversation with about her periods. Shout out to the fathers. So as the days goes by, the conversations between the daughter and the mother become strained. Why? Every time the daughter is talking to the mother is always asking the daughter, "Hiyo ni nguo gani umevaa?" You see, now they have moved from WhatsApp calls to Skype calls. So every time msichana akienda kuongea na mamake over the phone calls, the conversation would be, "Hiyo ni nguo gani umevaa?" Kwani umevaa kinyasa? Then after the daughter has spoken to the mother now talks to the father. Msichana analeo, kwani unaleo msichana aje? Hiyo ni nguo gani anavaa? So the relationship starts becoming what you can call for lack of a better word, strained. So they are now having a strained relationship between the father and the mother, and the daughter and the mother. So slowly by slowly, remember the daughter is being raised by the father because the mother traveled overseas. So slowly by slowly, the daughter gets more affection from the father because the father doesn't want to ruffle feathers back at home with the daughter. The father loves the daughter dearly because she's the only thing he has. Remember, the wife is gone. She's working abroad. Now, slowly but surely, the daughter gets to a position where now she has a boyfriend. So again, This is another conversation that parents avoid. The boyfriend talk. So one day your girl eventually will have a boyfriend. She may be in school, but as a father, the moment you hear that your daughter has a boyfriend, you know she's not prepared for what the world is holding outside there. As men out here, we know what is in store for the girls out here. Why? As men, out of experience, from a young age as men, we know the things we have done with girls. Nasikia mdem azeni nimbeba azeni yani nikakula udem nikamwachanisha hapo hawezi nibeba hivyo. So this is normal life. There's nothing wrong with that. This is normal life. Umeenda mahali, umekutana na dem, mumepati, kameshika, amekusetia, umechapa chapa, story imeisha. You know she's a good girl, but you don't want anything to do with her. As a father, you don't want your daughter in the streets. Kama msichana mliona kwa streets wakisema oh she used to work like this, oh she used to be like this, she used to be sijui a news anchor. You don't want her to be in that position, but that's not beside the point. So over the years, the father now is having conversations with the daughter about her period. Now there's a boyfriend. So the relationship between the mother and the daughter has become even more distant. So now even when the daughter is talking to the mother, she has crossed her hands. So she starts resenting or hating the daily conversations with her mother. So she'll only talk to her mother like 5 minutes. And the tension is increasing. So the mother is bringing the father for raising a spoiled girl. So the mother eventually gets on a plane to travel and come back home. So the girl goes to meet her mother. She's wearing a tumbo cut na kona booty short na everything. Na alishatobolewa masikio. Who she has never told the mother, because you know when they are talking, the mother aliona tu shimo moja. Mchana ametombolewa ulimi, akona matatu, the mother hajaiona. So the first thing the mother asked the daughter akimuona, ni msichana wa nani? Ulikuwa hivi lini? Ulitobolewa ulimi lini? Ulichorwa tattoo lini? Kwa nini babako amekubaliza? So the distance is even growing wider. Shout out to the fathers. Shout out to the parents. So when it comes to reparenting, or when it comes to Reparenting Tuesdays, there's so many instances that you can look at of different stories. That was just an example. And you can decide you truly do deserve grace, aka you truly don't even know what you're getting yourself into when it comes to parenting or raising or being raised. Now I want to confirm if I have they cut the internet cables. We don't have internet, so I'm using data. So let me see if I have enough time for my data expiry. I have 19 minutes. 19 minutes is enough. We'll be done with this live in 19 minutes. So now, 19 minutes. Shout out to everyone in the comments. Let me see. Come on now. What do you mean end the live? I'm not ending the live. So now you're down to 17 minutes. Cancel. 17 minutes. Ninunue bando ingine. Sinunui bando ingine. Wait, let me see. So, welcome to Reparenting Tuesdays. That was just a story. We are starting with the story to wait for everybody to get on board. Now, there's a lot of people out there who you are going to meet. Some of them will be what you call obese. Tulienda Kikuyu Lab session. It was a beautiful event. The people were beautiful. The event was trash. The sound was trash. The event planners were trash. The lights, electricity was trash. Pale Elysian Garden. But the people were amazing. The people tried as much as they could to have fun. But in the future Kikuyu Lab session, that was trash. People didn't have to pay 2,500 for trash. You can do better. Now, back to the live. So at Kikuyu Lab session, we had very beautiful ladies. We had big ladies, small ladies, ladies with big asses, small asses, big boobs, small boobs. I mean, all bodies matter. Who cares? And in the event, there were these two girls who stood out for me because they came, they were like, can we take pictures with you? Oh my God, oh my God, all these girls. I don't even know where they take my picture. I know a lot of people come and take pictures with me. I don't even know where they do or whatever they do with their picture. They don't send me, I don't even ask their numbers. I don't know what they do with the pictures. Maybe whatever they do with the pictures. Shout out to my girls. So, one of the girls, alikuwa na miguu inatoshana na ya ndovu, maguru maiga na majogu, aka she was what you call chronically obese. Someone who's chronically obese is someone who even walking is a problem, but she had a beautiful heart. And another friend was shout out to her. I had to sneeze out all that chronic energy out of her. Let it go. And her other friend was thin, aka as in having an eating disorder. So when you meet someone, and this is something that I tell my people when I meet them in my industry, in the fitness industry, I tell them, you are not fat, you are not overweight, you have an eating disorder, aka you don't know when to stop eating. You don't know when is enough is enough. Okay? And these are not eating disorders. These are not disorders. This is deep. This is reparenting. This is an attempt. So anyone who's obese, watoto wa the rich people, mnasemanga watoto wao ni rich, ati watoto wao wamenona ni obese. Obesity doesn't come from eating disorders. That's not a disorder. What is happening is that these children are attempting to gain control after a childhood of betrayal. For example, when you go to the rich people's homes, they are always betraying their children. They don't have time for the children. So what they do, they buy the children their TV, anamnunulia TV, akae nayo kwa room yake, amnunulia PlayStation. So unataka nini KFC? So instead of having conversations with the children, engaging the children, aka instead of meeting the children emotionally and being there for them emotionally, emotional maturity, they betray the children. Mtoto akikuja, daddy, wacha nikununulie KFC. Mom, itishia KFC. So they neglect the children. So the children, in an attempt to gain control after being betrayed by the parents, after that violation of their boundaries, where the parents don't want to talk to them, after that betrayal from their siblings, their mothers, after that emotional neglect that they are deceiving or getting, they start eating. So mtoto anakula KFC, anakula pizza, anajua every time akienda kuongelesha mzazi wake anamutishianga chicken. Every time they want to bond, babayo anamwambia twende tukakule McDonald's. Let's go and have some McDonald's. Let's go to the junction. There's some McDonald's, So we have to, this is why I tell my people all the time, my community, I tell you, give yourself grace. Wewe umenona, uko obese, umekuja gym, give yourself grace. Si wewe ulikuwa unapenda kunona. Si ulikuwa unataka kukula ukae hivyo. No. The thing is, these conversations, no one has this type of conversation. You can only find them on our page, where we are going to build a better community. We are going to build a community that is emotionally regulated. We will be grown-ups. We will be grown-ups, more grown-up, on where our parents failed and our grandfathers, so that we can raise a healed generation. So obesity will become a thing of the past. And eating becomes a thing of the past because we'll be there for our children. I'll give you an example. If when you are growing up, you are regularly violated, violence is on a regular, and violence doesn't have to be physical. Okay? Violence can be neglected. You never see your father. Your father is so busy crisscrossing the country, stealing, doing whatever, where to the point you are emotionally violated. So for you as a child, for survival, you attempt to do what you call to gain control of your body. So since you are dysregulated, your emotional state, remember, where the body goes, where the mind goes, the body goes. So if your mind is not regulated, your body also becomes unregulated. Where the mind goes, the body goes. Your body is a representation of your mind. So in an attempt to gain back that control of your mind because of the emotional neglect that you are receiving from your parents, okay, you try to do it by gaining control through your body. So one of the things that you do is you start going overboard, binge eating, or you start doing what you call restrictive. You restrict your body because you already violated, you turn into restrictions. So you start under eating. Hawa ni wale watu wanajiwekeanga you have all the money in the world but chakula yako unajiwekeanga kabakuli. Uko na kasahani kadogo kwako, huwezi nunua sahani kubwa because in your mind you are trained as a child. You trained your child as a child you felt betrayed, so you started restricting yourself. So ikakuwa ni chakula. Those people who cannot buy fruits in their own homes. Okay? I'm one of the victims. Where Monjiro, we have always spoken about this. She's like, nilikuachia melon ujakula. Matunda inaribikia hapa. Mbona ukulangi matunda? But I can't. I'm still healing. I still have so much trauma towards food. So much trauma towards food. I can't eat that banana. Naona ni kama naharibu na hizo apples. Ukinunua apples nasikia upain at guy apples iligi 50. How could I apple? Like it's deep in my psyche for me to accept myself to eat fruits. Okay? Food is a problem. Even when I went into lifting weights and I went to the gym, and again I was growing massively, and I was looking at my what you can call my protein intake. I'm having 4 eggs in the morning, bacon in the morning, toast up, I have nuts here, I have coffee here. To the point now my body is like, oh my God, you can't do this. You have to stop going to the gym. You are spending too much on food. And these are things that are deep in your psyche. Because if you, let's say, you regularly witness fights in your home, intense fights. So there was always what you call betrayal in the family. Okay? So when you are growing up, you lacked what you call emotional support during that process. So it makes sense that food becomes a way to regulate your emotions. So if there's too much food in your home and your fathers are always fighting, there's no peace in the house, you become obese because food becomes your own food. Your mother is shouting to your father is shouting to your mother, they're always fighting, so you find food in the fridge. So you become obese, you're always eating. And as you are always eating, your father is still abusing you. Anatukana mamako, watoto wako ni kama nguruwe, kazi yenu ni kukula tu, mimi kazi yangu ni kuenda kazini, nyinyi kazi yenu ni kukula. But unakula because that becomes your way of regulating your emotions. There is emotional neglect, there's no one to check on you, there's no one to hug you, there's no one to soothe you. So food becomes what you run to be soothed by food. Shout out to all my obese people in the space. It's not your fault. Ni pale reparenting. Ilitoka pale. You don't even know where it came from. Kuna watu wengine wanakaa msumari. You can't eat. There has been research that has shown that children who experience childhood abuse, children who experience emotional abuse, children who are neglected, 5 times more likely to develop what you call an eating disorder. Mtu kama Kagame hawezi pata mwili. Why? Emotional abuse growing up. Mtu kama David Ndii sasa anatoshana na hipo. Mother wounds. So he turns to eating. All the trolling you do to him on TikTok. Hizo trolling zote, what do? They turn to eating. So ukiona Devendia anatoshana hivyo usimtu. These are emotional trauma. These are men who don't know how to regulate their emotions. So they turn to eating. That is how they soothe themselves. So they become overweight. They become overweight, you still abuse them. Wewe umekula taxes zetu umekuwa. So they continue until they die now. They have to die. Their organs have to give up. And that is the reality. Ruto hata hawezi nona, atanona aje na ajui babake, mamake anamwambianga ajui babake, sasa atanona aje. He is emotionally abused. So he's a man who's unhealthy. Ukimwangalizi physique, demeanor, he's unhealthy. My face is growing better than Ruto and he's a president. I have more glow, more shine. These are all results of what you call emotional abuse. These are all results of what you call lack of emotional maturity from parents when they are raising their children. These are not disorders, because eating becomes pain. You are angry, so you eat. Your father and mother are always fighting, so you eat. You soothe yourself with food. You open the fridge, you take Coca-Cola, you eat. And since there's money, since there's food, you eat. That becomes your disorder. But it's not a disorder. It's a deep down, what you're doing is that you want to connect or disconnect. So they don't want you to connect with your body. There's no glimmer moment. So you want to disconnect from the noise in your home. So you eat. And you're not disconnecting from the noise in the home. You are disconnecting from your body. Because remember, the mind creates the body. Where the mind goes, the body goes. So the mind wants to be disconnected. There's so much shame. So even when you are eating, there's so much shame. There's so much disgust. My parents are fighting, you are eating. Or on the opposite, you don't want to eat. Unasikia mtoto akiambiwa kuja ukule, sisikii, sina njaa. Unasikia mtoto akulangi, wachana mtoto akalale. Sina njaa. So you start training yourself not to eat because there is shame. But that is not your shame. That's not yours. That shame is coming from how people treat you. Like you don't matter. That shame is coming with how harsh or how badly you are physically punished. That shame is coming from the fact that your parents didn't even hug you. They never touched you at all. You are mtoto wa maid. Umezaa, umepea maid mtoto. Atika unaleteangwa mtoto, unanyonyesha, unapea maid akalale na mtoto. Hata kunyonywa after 6 months utaki kunyonywa tena, matiti yako itaanguka. So mtoto wako na chupa. So unatokanga kazi, unaletewa mtoto, unamshika kidogo kidogo, unaita auntie, kuja uchukue mtoto niongee na simu, unapeana mtoto. So what are you raising? You are raising children who have shame. That child from a young age is ashamed. Anashindwa, mbona mama hataki kunishika? So as they grow in shame. They are ashamed of everything. So they turn to food. Eating. Overweight. Or they hate food. Because they are trying to disconnect. And what are they disconnecting from? Their mind, which is their bodies. When you are growing up, you have so many violence, what you call violent violation of what you can call boundaries. So, even in your own body, you are not safe. Umelala kwa room yako, those who are lucky to have a room. Mamako ameanza kupigana, babako anakuja ameingia, mamako anakimbilia room yako kujificha. Babako amemfuata huko na tarimbo. Nilogurage pa anamchapia uko hapo, dad. So as you are growing up, your body is not safe. You're supposed to be safe in your own body, in your own mind. Your body is not safe. So what do? You disconnect from the body. You eat, you overeat, or you refuse to eat. Now here you are obese. So me tukikutana Kikuyu Love Session, I know where your pain is coming from. I know you have a beautiful soul, you have a beautiful heart. But you are obese. Excessively. You can't even walk. Na kila mtu anakuangalia zile zaangalia kile kinono. So I can understand when in the same Kikuyu Love Session na kuona 4 times ukiendea chakula. I understand where that shame is coming from. Your boundaries were violated when you were growing up. Yes, you are coming from your money. Yes, you are coming from money. You've come with a big car. But it is showing me that the adults who are in your life never touched you, never showed you love. They were never there for you. so you are not safe. So overeating, or what you call being obese, or not allowing yourself to eat, is usually an attempt to bury what you call that shame, to forget those painful memories. Or you're trying to make sure that no one will look at you and want to violate you again. So you eat a lot so that you can be big, so that no one can violate you now. But that big is being obese. Or you refuse to eat to be skinny so that no one wants now to violate you again, because now because you are skinny, umekonda, atakuhurumia juu umekonda, hawezi kukuchapa ama kukuguza. So this cycle of restriction is deep. You need to reparent, you need to find your wounds, you need to heal your traumas na vitu kama hizo. So ukipatana na mtu wako overweight, ukipatana na mtu amekonda, understand that this is not normal bodies. This is something that is coming from deep core. There's a cycle of restriction that gives you that distraction, something to concentrate on, to eat, something to obsess over. I will not eat, so that you don't have to sit and go over through the pain of that thing that is going unresolved. So shout out to everyone in the comments. Let me see. I think my data is over, so this is going to be a short one. There's this company. This month I didn't pay the Safaricom one. I paid for the Gina, because Safaricom internet is becoming shit. You know, I can't be paying all that money and their data is shit. So do have a beautiful day. Each one teach one. Do have a beautiful day. Ciao, ciao.